Hello, and welcome, Reading One. I am now opening the portal. Feel free to close your eyes if you're in a safe place where you feel comfortable to do that. When we go into these podcast picker readings, it is literally for you to go into your own world, into your own mind, your story, the words that I'm telling, the transmissions that are coming through, everything is individual. If you found yourself here, you all need medicine from this reading. It could be the whole thing. It could be a snapshot. I found for myself when I am watching a mass reading that, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I inadvertently will find myself drifting off somewhere else. I'm in my own story, and then I'm like, oh wow, what did they say? And I missed a lot. And then I realize, because you're meant to miss that because it's not meant for you. You don't have to strain yourself to hear every single word because not every single word is for you. Sometimes it is. I have had those readings. I've had more than one reading by some really profound readers that literally, it's like no one else was there. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like, it's like word for word my story, like word for word. So when that happens, that's when you definitely know, like, beep, 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 like, listen. There is a lot of fakery and fuckery out there. I mean, there's so much. It's beyond. In fact, I'm going to take the anger out because I feel like I'm getting it. Because when I first started this, I'm like, the hills are alive. Like, I'm feeling like, I did feel a little anxiety getting into this reading, but I kind of felt like it was a mass anxiety for everybody, maybe because of the title. I don't know if you read the description of this reading. Or if you just went straight into the reading, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I always refresh the energy. But yesterday I was pulled to do a podcast full reading for the tribe, for all of us. And it was also a goodbye to my beautiful friend Bubba. As most of you know, she's crossed over the Rainbow Bridge now. And I don't want to stay too long on that because that one's fresh. So with that being said, I just wanted to have you really hear the words that are coming through. Today we are being guided by the unicorns. I was so excited when they wanted to come in. I actually was led to, just like you were led here, I was led to a shorts from somebody. I was like, is that my reading? Like, it literally looked like one of my readings. And then I realized it wasn't, but it was so for me. The shorts, like, it really resonated on every single level. And when I was getting this set up, I felt this energy from spirit that the unicorns really wanted to speak with us today. I was all over the place, actually. I was working with the snake energy, the renewal energy, the dark, deep, and dangerous deck, which I don't know when they're going to have me put that out, but I've got some shorts coming through for that as well. Little mini readings, if you will. But there's a lot coming down the pipeline. I needed some time to grieve, and now I am I'm still going to be grieving. I'm always going to be grieving that loss of the physical of my best friend. But when Spirit came to me through the Transformers soundtrack, the song was No Sacrifice, No Victory. And those of you who've been with us a long time, you know that this has come up for us many, many times. It's so beautiful and so poignant because if you're here and you're listening to this right now, you're a warrior. You're a warrior of some kind. You're either a warrior, truth slayer with your words. You slay with writing. Maybe you are a public speaker. Maybe you have a YouTube channel, something like that. But you definitely slay, and you are out there putting it pen to paper. You are putting it out there. And if you're not, it could be where your blockage is, because I felt that right away. What they were trying to say to us is no sacrifice, no victory means that some things have to fall away so that we can reach the destination in which we were meant to be here. For some of us, whether we like it or not, no matter how much witchery or manifestations or, let's just be honest, manipulation, anything that we want to do to continue something to go through for us, it will fall away. And, there's a karma connected to that. It may be small, it may be large, it may be a buildup of karma, and then you get one big smack in the face. But I'm going to tell you with personal experience, time and time again, with 5 decades behind my belt in this incarnation, I tell you with all that I am and all that I have and all the love that I have for you, the grace and gratitude I have for you and myself and spirit, you cannot run away from your destiny. Okay? You chose this. Or it chose you, but you accepted. Either way, however you were created and divined into this incarnation, you have many stories and many lives, and everything's crashing in, and I am with you. We are leaders in this fight, in this battle. I saw something so grotesque today that I lost my fucking noodle, and I made a short, and I went to delete it and Spirit told me not to. So either they want me to refine it and keep it there to remind me to do it, or I'm going to put it out there balls out, because honestly, when I saw this thing from Elon Musk basically calling us pussies, saying that we should be working 120 hours a week, I have never wanted to beat the fuck out of somebody so bad. Like, that was like Southside Chicago Kelly came out and there was like, my snake, because now we're in the year of the snake, and the snake is very beautiful and sinew, and it moves so beautifully and glides through the floor of the forest, right? But if you try to hurt them or you get in their path, they'll bite you, and they'll have no fucking remorse over it. So this is not just about change and transformation. This is about the, right? Like saying, I did not come here to play fucking small. I have cried for days over the loss that I have suffered, and I have suffered loss over the last 8 months. And I'm sure you have too, because I was very, not adamant, but I basically said to Spirit, I really don't want to talk about myself today. Like, I don't want to cry anymore right now. Like, I just want to get through these readings and not get through, like, you know, I love being here with you guys. That's what I was saying, is like, just, can I please get my mind off of my pain and suffering? Can I just go, can I just want to be with you guys? Like, I want to be in your pain and suffering, right? You know what I mean? Like, but no, but I digress. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll put a link below. You'll hear my podcast of my pain and my sorrow. If you can handle it. If you can't, it's okay. But it has not been an easy road for me either. And that is why I am fucking here to lead you out of yours. Because what kind of leader would I be if I didn't do it myself? Right? The most revered kings in history were the kings that actually fucking got on a horse and went to battle. Yes. Because they're respected. They're like, I may be the, up here and blah, blah, blah. And the best king is the king that's like, I am over, my cup is overflowing. Make sure everybody has food. Make sure everybody has what they need. Yes, and we bring justice. Trust me, people are freaking the fuck out of what's happening right now in America. People are freaking the fuck out. They're like, but this is all part of the play. This is all part of the facade. And this is where we come out now. This is where the true healers come out. You cannot hide anymore. Your sacrifice is going to be personal to each and every one of you. But for you to attain your victory, it's going to be through something that fucking pumps your soul. Not full of lead and has you laying down on the ground with no fight left. No. It's about shedding that skin like the snake. So you can show your beautiful, silky, sinew skin that will writhe and writher out of that old, crusty existence. This is your time. This is your place. Let no one erase who you are, why you're here. You cannot have fear. You must trust now and have faith. Because trust Spirit when they say there will be a wraith and a wrath, and it will come down so fucking hard. All the little pieces are going to tumble and fall. And honestly, you guys, I am telling you from my heart, whether you are in the northern or southern hemisphere, because we have both, whether you're in the hot thick of summer in the south, or you are in the cold in the north, or maybe you're somewhere in between, wherever you are, this is your winter. Because come spring and come fall for our southern hemisphere family, all of the seeds will be planted. And by harvest time in the northern hemisphere, it's going to look like a different place. And from a year from now, when the horse comes through in freedom after the snake leaves, everything is going to change. I'm almost positive horse is next. It might, I'm the year of the pig, and I used to know them in order, and I got lazy about it. But either way, freedom is coming around the corner in 2026. You know why? Because it's 10. It's about completion. It's about endings. And by 2027, which will be an 11 year, all will be well. But you must hold your faith. I see things too. Spirit wants me to see things so that I am come here and tell you this. Some of you, you're meant to be like a Martin Luther King Jr., right? Like you're meant to be a fucking, Rosa Parks. Like you're meant to do that. Those are the two that came to mind right now. But you're meant to do that. Fuck you, I'm not sitting in the back of the bus. I get sick. I want to sit in the front. I want to be able, my feet are tired. I don't want to walk anymore. Because my skin color? Because of my gender? This is all I'm telling you right now. Because love is coming through. And what I realized growing up, and now I can tell you after being here all these years, what I realized growing up is that everyone has someone in their family who is quote unquote LGBTQ, gay, transgender, different. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't until I got older and I looked back and I was like, wow, like 9 of my closest friends would put themselves in that category of LGBTQ and transgender. And it wasn't just because I was a loving, accepting soul and felt like an outcast myself, which, although I will tell you, which is why in my adult life, when I partied and drank, I hung out in gay bars mostly, even loved working as a bartender at one of the most famous gay restaurants in Chicago. And I was the only woman to ever work there, by the way, until the owner's sister retired from teaching and came in. But like at that point, it was all men. And they were like, I have this good feeling about you. We need to hire you. And it was awesome. And it changed my life forever. I started working there after I went through my divorce. After I went through a massive chapter, a decades of my closest friends, my childhood friends, my life in LA, like everything was different, everything. And then I came back to Chicago trying to make my marriage work. It failed again. And I was alone, but I wasn't. And I was surrounded by the most beautiful souls that reminded me how special I was. That the first time we went to karaoke and I sang, they were like, my one friend was like crying and he was just like, oh my God. He's like, I had no idea you could sing. And I was like, yeah, dude, it's like I lost a part of myself. But through these beautiful creatures and through that world, I found myself again. Why do you think, you hear things from like, Chappell Rowan or Drew Barrymore I just saw recently where she was talking about, I don't know where I'd be without my girlfriends. And then she goes, and my gay friend. She's like, let me just say that too, because it's true. I mean, there's a beauty inside of the souls that were not accepted for who they were from the beginning. Those who had to put on the masks, our heart goes out to them. And if you found yourself here today, most likely you're in that group too. You didn't fit in. You were different. You had to wear masks to make yourself feel comfortable, make others feel comfortable. Maybe you were shining brightly, but too brightly with some people, right? They wanted to douse your light. They were jealous, envious. Those are horrible, horrible, horrible energies. Right now, in this incarnation, right now, no matter when you hear this, because these readings are always timeless. It doesn't matter the day. But this is in February 2025. And I've been getting this pull about the 4-4 portal. So if you are drawn to any other readings that I'm going to put out in the next, I don't know when they're going to have me do it, but we've been talking about it a lot. So April 4th is going to be a really big deal. Also, for some people, it's about revisiting last year when we had the eclipse over the 4-4 portal. There's just been a lot of huge change and transformation, and Spirit wants you to be aware that you are not alone, that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and that it's time for your victory. It's time for you to win. It's no more taking the back seat. Speak up. Look at Martin Luther King Jr. He knew. All of them knew. It was a ticking time bomb. In that time period, at the end of the archaic age and when the age of Aquarius came in, that's why that time was so tumultuous, because it was such a massive fucking shift. It was a massive shift. So many thousands of years of repression and pain and suffering. If we go by the reality of the numbers, look at how old Egypt is. Look at the slavery. On every continent, there are stories. They're all the fucking same story. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, the color of your skin. There's stories that have been happening like this forever, because humanity is fragile and beautiful and short and precious. And every second that we waste on those that don't love and accept us for who we are is a moment wasted on those that do, and on those that need us the most. Let them fall away into the abyss. Some of them are here to be teachers and part of our story, and some of them are fucking seat fillers. They're there to test you all the time. And a wise wizard once told me, you know, the way of the white buffalo is the way to walk alone. And sometimes when we're going through these changes and these tests, it was put in front of me a mirror by another fucking powerful healer, and they were like, they kept saying it, and I was like, stop saying that. They're like, but that's what it is. I'm like, ugh, and I didn't want to hear it, but they were right. And it's not like a written test in school. It's not even a fucking, debate. It just is. We get choices every moment, every second, even in our dream space. We are always given choices to stretch and grow and evolve and awaken our soul to a much grander experience than this small, tiny world. It's beautiful and strenuous and awful and lovely and all of these things, but it is just a short part and a small part of who we are. We exist elsewhere. We are pure love. We are pure light. And when the shadow wins, at least when you're in the shadow and allowing them to hold you down, work through the pain and suffering, cry and get it out. You know what I realized? It's like my spiritual side knows that Baba's fine. My mom is fine. Alder's still here in person, my partner, but they're fine. I know that. My spiritual soul, my soul knowledge absolutely, positively knows that I will not only see them again, but work with them again and go through experiences with them again. I know this. But, however, my third dimensional soul, right? The third dimensional avatar, this world, this life, this incarnation is still releasing and letting go of the pain and suffering of the knowledge that I hold. Her soft paw in my hand. Her meow at me when I'm fucking up, But I have countless pictures and videos. I even have a channel for her. I mean, I was literally emotionally cutting for like days after we laid Bubba to rest. I was just like a fucking mess, man. Just a mess. but I needed it. And it also helped me grieve through things with my mother and my childhood. Things that if I don't pull them out, I won't be able to heal them. And if I don't heal them, I can't pass on the wisdom to you. And we are the wisdom bringers and the wisdom seekers. We hold space for those who cannot hold space for themselves. How that went viral, the holding space thing. How people made fun of it, and then, how Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo tried to explain it in the most beautiful ways, but they also did it with humor, because they realize, because they're like us. And they see it. You can't make magic like Wicked and not fucking see the truth. Cynthia Erivo is so, and when I found out she was a Capricorn, I'm like, that makes so much sense. So just everything with her, like her chart, like she was talking about it, and I was like, dude, yep, like she's so beautiful and, so special, such a special angel right now. I mean, it's like, that's when you realize that we're all Jesus. We all retain. Jesus may have come here as a disciple, as a prophet at the time, to engage with other people's awareness of self, awareness of love of self and love of others, awareness of empathy, kindness. That why would you sit there and enjoy a beautiful meal while you see a child outside the window of the restaurant with no shoes on and dirty? You have no fucking idea what's going on. Do you know, when I was in Mexico, when I went to visit, one of the first things I did when we got there was go to a holiday party, which was filled with like the richest of the rich. Okay, in Mexico City, the neighborhood is called Polanco. It's the Beverly Hills of Mexico City. The Beverly Hills of Mexico, period. I mean, out of all the towns and cities and whatever, I mean, Mexico City is like, it's the avant-garde. It's the New York, it's like the art, I mean, when I was there at their museum, they literally were showing a Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo exhibit of their original paintings. That's how I actually found them, was in Mexico City. I didn't really know of them until I was there. But it was also a place where I wasn't allowed to travel alone, that there were men who stood with machine guns outside banks and important buildings, government buildings. Like, it was things I'd never seen and experienced before, to understand what a third world country was. And I remember we were at this party, and I was telling them how we went to this restaurant, and I felt really sick to my stomach that we were eating in this super fancy fucking restaurant, and out the window I could see children, with no shoes on and stuff. And it was very upsetting to me. And they said, oh, please, they do that to their parents, don't even work. And it's like, the more they told me, the more I'm like, yes, but still, they're the one that's suffering. And instead of like, bringing them money, I was like, I'm going to bring them food. I'm like, and be like, will you eat with me? Because I was like, they should eat this food. Like, I felt fucking sick to my stomach. I just watched this really powerful movie called Julia. If you guys have not seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. It's free on YouTube this month. I'm sure they have commercials, and I know they suck, but if not, just download it. But it's an old movie. You might even be able to get it really cheap and free with non-commercials. But it is with Vanessa Redgrave, who plays Julia, and Jane Fonda, who plays Lillian Hellman, which was based on a true story. It is so good. It's actually Meryl Streep's first movie. It's so interesting. I don't want to give any more away. But it was a beautiful film. It was gripping. It is based around World War II, and when these women were trying to help the Jewish community, I don't want to say too much, but it's around World War II. I'll leave it there. But it was so good. It was gripping. I was like bawling at the end. It was so good, but it was so good. And it made you realize, like, it's like, because I will say this, Vanessa Redgrave's character comes from a lot of money, opulence, like over the top money. And from what I could tell in the beginning, very old money. And so, when she goes to study abroad, she ends up staying and becoming a teacher. And during the time that she is in Europe, in Vienna, is when she, as a teacher, is when things start to happen with the Third Reich. And she, being a Jewish woman but American, she could have easily left and nothing would have happened to her, but she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. She couldn't leave her students. She couldn't leave her people. She was just like, I don't fucking care. Like, this is, I'm going to do what I can, and it's just a really good movie. It's like, it's a love story and a spy movie. And it's beautiful. It's beautifully written. It's beautifully done. It's a little overacted because of the time period, but not, I mean, if you think of the energy and the emotions, it's like, no, like they were channeling what was happening. And I feel like for now, that's what we're all going through right now. We are all playing our part to help. And I guarantee you, with everything I am, the help is here. It's right here. You just have to ask for it. You just have to reach out to Spirit and say, I am ready. Show me how I can help. I wake up in the morning. I try to every morning to first take a few breaths, and then I say, how can I serve today, Spirit? How may I help? Sometimes it's just giving somebody a hug in the grocery store that needs it. Sometimes it's you're in the library and you see two people laughing, having a good time, and that just warms your heart. And that energy you bring back out into the world. We need to go through the pain and suffering, but we cannot live there. Bubba, like I was falling into a depression again between last night and this morning, and Bubba was like, I am here, I am here, I am here, can you feel me? And my whole body was a chill, and I was like, oh my gosh. And Bubba's like, I haven't left you. I'm just not in an avatar anymore. I'm not in a cat. She's like, but I am here, I am with you. And some people might think this is silly and foolish, but I really don't give a shit. But you guys, for those of you know I have an elephant stuffed animal named Sherwood, and I've been calling him my emotional stuffy because when I could no longer hug Bubba, that came into my orbit, and I had no idea that it was going to become also Bubba. So Bubba was saying to me, like, when you really want to hug me or when you really want to talk to me, she's like, talk to Sherwood. She's like, I'm never ever going to leave you. I'm never going to leave you ever. And that was just so amazing, because that's what I realized. I'm like, she's my familiar. Like, I felt her. It was a death for me. Like, I told Alder, I'm like, I felt it. Like, there was a moment when at the funeral when we were by the river and we burned her body. We gave her an old school Viking burial in the mountains, and it was beautiful. And there was just this moment by the river where I just screamed out, and I screamed out her name. And I don't want to get too emotional, but I felt this energy in the woods, in the forest, in the mountains. Like, I felt everyone there with us. It was very strong. It was very powerful. It was very profound. But it never got too heavy. And it wasn't meant to, because I needed to work through that. And I needed to release her. And it was so also profound that in the Aquarius energy, which is air energy, even though the Aquarius imagery is the water bringer, it is also an air element. Aquarius is an air element. So I thought it was so beautiful that she wanted to be by the river, the moving, beautiful river, one of the most beautiful rivers in the Olympic Mountains. And we, Alder built her like this beautiful Viking, burial. I mean, it was really beautiful. And I couldn't watch him put her in the fire, but I was by the riverbank, and I knew when it was time I would go and be with her and be with him. But I felt her going into the air, into the ether, and that's what she wanted. That's what she wanted. She will forever be beautiful. She will forever be Baba the Great. But I felt her leave my body. I felt that connection. I also realized that it's time for me to be free for a while. And when it's time, a familiar will come back to me, But for now, it could be for some of you, if you've been itching for an animal, it could be time for a familiar. Whatever it is, it could be a fish. I had a very dear friend who loved betta fish. Her betta fish lived for years. They're not meant to live that long, but they were best friends, and he was absolutely positively her familiar. You know what I mean? And so you just never know. It could be 2 years, and it could be for my 13. I'd never had an animal for 13 years. But don't put an ending on it. Or maybe you're not opening your heart chakra because you don't want to love again. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a place, maybe it's a thing. Maybe your heart's pulling you somewhere and you're not sure where. But I knew I had to sacrifice. Baba had to go. I wanted her to live forever. But that's not what is supposed to happen. We are meant to endure sacrifice. But we're also meant to celebrate and enjoy love and endure love. I sat with Baba. Alder and I sat with Baba till she took her last breath. I have never, ever watched something I loved that much die like that for hours. But it was also the most beautiful, precious thing I have ever witnessed. And if you've witnessed it, you know what I'm talking about. And maybe I'm saying this to you because you have something that's going to happen like that. Don't be afraid of it. Face death. Face death. Shed the skin. Release and let it go. It's time for you to move in the flow. And with that being said, I was pulled to work with selenite, amethyst, moonstone, and pink agate. Okay, so if you can't, and I looked down, it was 3108. You guys, Baba passed on January 31st, 2025. She's here to tell you, no more playing small. Also, I brought an altar into the space, and there is a bookmark that I have that says dream on it. And so they want you to work with your dreams in the dream space, but also what's your dream? Everybody's got a dream. What's your dream? So those 4 crystals, if you do not have them, but have the means to get them, please do. If you can, I suggest you go and get them in person, even if it's like a road trip. Let's say you live in the mountains and there's a really great place, like the best crystal place that it's close to you. It's the closest one to you, but it's like a 2-hour drive. Go, if you don't drive, ask a friend, ask somebody that is like-minded, and say, hey, would anyone like to go on a road trip with me to this crystal shop, or go by yourself, whatever's meant to be. If you can drive on your own, maybe you could take a train, a bus, even if you have the means to go and stay, like maybe it's to go stay in a city or a town where you need a getaway alone. I'm just feeling like there's something, I got the chills there. I'm feeling it's time for you to do something alone and ask for help. I see things in the community section in Craigslist all the time. Spirit will have me look on Craigslist. Sometimes I'm praying for, animals. Sometimes I'm praying for people. Literally, sometimes they'll be in the community section. Will somebody please pray for me? And I'll go in there and I'll read it and I'll say a prayer for them. It's a really good practice. It really is. And I also flag the naughty stuff. Not all of it, because sometimes I feel like it's for like a lesson or for someone else, but definitely if there's like a dick pic or something like that, I flag that because I'm like, that's just not right. You know what I mean? And they don't usually last very long. You know what I mean? Or I'll flag something, or I'll go to flag something and they'll be like, this was just flagged. And I'm like, oh, good. And I'll be like, it was only up like an hour or 40 minutes. But still, it's like, I just always picture like, some sweet little granny looking for, maybe yarn or something and like ends up in the wrong space. Because that's what really makes me upset is when I see it in like the for sale section. Where when they do that, because they're just doing it for their own, gross, I'm sorry, I shouldn't judge people, but you know what I mean? Like they're doing it for their own, actually, that's really horrible that I did that because I am, married to a sex addict who is, a recovering sex addict. So I don't want to say that. That's my own. See how I just brought my own stuff in there? 3347. But you know what I mean? So you never know. And there are a lot of animals on Craigslist that people are like, I'm going to put them down, or you can just tell like they need help, or someone's like, hey, I took this animal because I felt really bad for them. But they, they're not really working with my family. Can you please help? I don't want to take them to the pound. They're a really good dog. I saw that last night, this amazing dog. They're like, they have a horrible prey drive. I'm like, well, yes, it is literally a hunting dog. It's literally a hunting dog. That's why it has a prey drive. People get a dog because they think it's cute and fluffy or whatever. And it's like, no, you need to be aware, When Alder and I, years ago, we lived on this one farm and we were devastated that we used to call her Bubba's twin. She looks so much like Bubba. The first time I saw her, it freaked me out. It like freaked me out. She looks so much like Bubba. I was like, Bubba? I was like, because I was like, Alder dropped me off. I'm like, did she get in the car? Like, your mind starts going everywhere because you're like, and long story short, that I only knew her for a short period of time, and she was killed because they had dire wolves. You have dire wolves. You have wolves. Wolves have prey drive. Not all wolves, like some would, the other cat, they did get him eventually, but they didn't get him for a really long time. So, but I think that wolves are just like any other animal, right? Like if they're fed, they're fine. Because they're like, oh, they would hang out with them all the time. I'm like, yeah, because they were fed. But if you don't feed them in time, if you don't, you know what I mean? Like there's all these things that can happen. So if you do end up, being drawn or looking for a familiar, keep these things in mind. Now, most likely you're going to know. You're just going to know, if you've ever rescued an animal or if you've ever had an animal come into your life inadvertently, like that was all meant to be. You know what I mean? Like that was meant to be. But if you are someone who is looking, just keep these kind of things in mind. Like if you have cats or things like that and you're like, oh yeah, I saw this reading where the wolf was my spirit animal. The wolf may be your spirit animal, but don't get a wolf dog just because, you know what I mean? Because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You see it all the time with these animals, these wild animals that are raised from babies, and then they turn. They don't mean to, right? But shit happens. Okay, so moving on to your unicorn cards. The first card that we pulled is growth. And speaking of, that's so interesting. We have in the imagery, and I'll put pictures in the community section. Speaking of community section, on my channel, I'll put them in not on Craigslist, but on my channel, I will put in the community section images of the cards. I know a lot of people like to see them, especially because in this unicorn oracle deck, the Oracle of the Unicorns, they're so lovely. I mean, these artists are just, it's great medicine too. So the first card is growth, and it has a very large Pegasus and a small Pegasus, and they're about to land in the forest, and it's a beautiful little river, like a little stream. It's got moss on the ground. They're in the woods. They're both white. There's a light shining through the trees, and it's really, really beautiful, and there's a little waterfall, and it says growth. Seek out a mentor or guide. Take baby steps as you grow, and be willing to learn from others. So that's very interesting, because that's what it is right now. That's kind of how that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like this morning, I woke up super depressed. I was like, I knew Spirit wanted me to do this reading today because in real time, it's the first quarter moon. And the first quarter moon is all about taking action. And if you watch the new moon reading, I'll put the link below. But if you watch in the new moon reading from the dragons, they had a lot of messages for us because it was going from the year of the dragon to the year of the snake, and the Capricorn moon to the Aquarius moon. And they wanted us to see like just how much change was about to happen, and to also celebrate, because Aquarius energy is so powerful and so beautiful. 3812, forever anyone. For if that could be angel numbers, however it computes for you, but it was 38 semicolon 12, so it could be 38 and it could be 12, and you can add them together. 8 and 3 is 11, and 12 is 3. So however you want to, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things you can, however that works for you, you can look up that number. But while I was saying that, this card just showed itself to me, and it was kind of at the bottom of the deck, but not. It was like 3 cards in, but all I saw was Sanctuary. And it says, take time out from the world, spend more time alone, meditate, or go on a retreat. Did I not just say you need to go somewhere? You do. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's something. And at the bottom of the deck is the expansion card. Now we have one more card that hasn't flipped over yet, but I'm going to take this expansion card. It's interesting too, because in the beginning, at the very first card, we had the growth, and we have the 2 Pegasus, the larger one and the smaller one. The smaller one is clearly a baby. But one day they will be as powerful and big and you know what I mean, and muscular as that big Pegasus, right? Because it's the circle of life. And they will teach them. And one day they will teach their, you know, protege, their child, their, you know what I mean? And so on and so on and so on. And it's interesting because in Sanctuary, it's a unicorn. It's not a Pegasus. It's a unicorn by itself with a full moon. And it looks like a fairy up above their head. And, you know, when it says to take time alone, it's almost as if, like, do you remember, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it, but do you remember in the original Lion King when, I don't want to give too much away, but do you remember when someone really profound in the little lion's life dies and they end up, like, on their own? But in that time, in that sanctuary, is when they really start to find themselves and they start to grow and become who they are. Well, it's really interesting because the expansion card is, you know, in the sanctuary card, it's like dark. It's like in the dark forest and it's the white unicorn, but they're looking down and they're looking sad. And but they have the moon above them and a fairy that's looking out for them. But in the growth card, there's the sun. So at the beginning, it's like they're showing the sun. The second card is like alone time in sanctuary with the moon in the forest. And then the expansion card is a Pegasus flying high in the sky in the clouds, like the air of the Aquarius energy. It's a white Pegasus. And I feel like it's meant to be like that you're like the little Pegasus and becoming this big Pegasus in the expansion, but they're floating in the clouds and the sun is back out again and it's shining through their wings and giving off like a pink hue through the wings and pink through their hair and their tail, but their body is white. And it says, spread your wings and soar, share your message and shine your light, show the world what you're made of. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm gonna cry. Like, I seriously just got the chills. Okay, and let me see, do we want to look at any more cards? Okay, no. So your last card is, to close up this reading, 4145, by the way. I just looked up. Celebration! Oh my gosh! I knew it! Oh my gosh, I gotta take a picture. So when I do readings for people over the phone, or recorded readings, it's like this. When I do recorded readings, I do try to set up the altar or put me on there and all that, so like you can be there with me. But and sometimes I do phone calls where we do a video chat, but a lot of times I like it more like this, because then you can just focus on yourself and focus on your story and all of these gems and pearls that are coming in. But one of the things that I really love to do is I love taking a picture of the altar and everything. Let me turn Sherwood for a second. I'm gonna put Sherwood over here. Okay. And everything that you are going through, because, you know, it's here for a reason. This growth, this expansion, this, you know what I mean? Like, you need this. Hold on. I'm getting you set up for success for your picture. Interesting that expansion was kind of the last card, but you'll see. Hold on. I have to take a picture first. I feel like they want, even though you can't see it right now, I just have this, like they want me to do it in the energy, if that makes any sense. Okay. Let me see if I can take one with the flash too. I always like to take two and see what comes up. Okay. So the last card is a unipeg. Now, did I not say in the beginning, growth, they have, right, like you're being taught by the Pegasus. Then when you're in sanctuary, you're working with the unicorn. And then you celebrate and you have both. Oh my gosh, you guys. And there's an owl. There's an owl behind the unipeg. And the unipeg is flying in the sky across a full moon with the owl behind them. Oh, and there's another owl at the bottom where the words are. And it says, but it's like almost like you can't see it, but you'll see it when you see the card. So it says celebration. A positive outcome is assured. Celebrate your success and enjoy your achievements. So even though it looks like oh sorry, that was my ankle cracking. Even though it looks like the last card is like not the unipeg, I feel like the celebration is, like, I can move them around, you know, let me see if Spirit wants me to. Sometimes I do. So I took pictures. Nope. So that's the way it was. Ooh, I just got the chills. Because some of you, oh, that's so cute. Because some of you are unicorns and some of you are Pegasus and some of you are unipegs and all of them are good. And, you know, the expansion and the growth is like you flying in the sky. You know, because here you are. If you look at it from the beginning, even though the first card we pulled was the growth card, when you look at it in order, Sanctuary is the first card with the unicorn in the dark, right, in the shadow. And it says, take time out from the world, spend more time alone, meditate or go on a retreat. Then the second one is saying, okay, now that you're like, you've had the time alone, now they're saying, okay, now seek a mentor or a guide, which you're doing right now, right? Take baby steps as you grow. Be willing to learn from others, right? And also I'm hearing to learn to like be open-minded. You know, I learned, do you know how many different light workers I worked with? I mean, so many, and everybody has their own take on things. And it took me a while to realize that it's okay if like, I don't believe in everything they believe in. You know, like I remember saying, you know, to my partner one time, I'm like, do you believe any of my stuff? Like, do you believe? And he's like, nah, not everything like you do, you know? And then I realized, I'm like, that's okay though. That is okay. He doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to believe in everything I believe in. It doesn't mean that he doesn't believe in me or he doesn't believe in himself or he doesn't believe in, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, we don't want to do these things to ourselves or put these limitations on ourselves. You know, it's like we're here to grow. We're here to evolve and dream and keep dreaming. I'm going to take another picture. So they'll have me, I'm sure they'll have me do certain things a certain way, but like, I just feel like they want me to do this right now. And I like doing it in real time with you as well. Because this is what I would do if we were on the phone. I'd still kind of be talking to you, you know, and if you are looking for a more personal reading, I am definitely going to be doing that. So let me know if you would like to do that, or if you'd like to purchase a recorded reading. It's the same thing. It's just it's all about you and it's me and you, but like you're just not there. You're going to watch it. But you're there with me when I do it. And it's really fun too, because you get to keep going back to it and watch it. And it's like half the price. I did it that way because I was like, if I make it that way, then I feel like it's more cost effective. I did raise my rates to $125 an hour. And, you know, so whatever that would be, whatever, what I'm like, what would that be? Ooh, 63. They told me to round up. So it would be $63 for a recorded reading. And all you do is, you know, you would just like pay me and, well, email me first. And actually, before we close out this reading, you guys, I want to let you know that when my phone died and all that happened, you know, a few weeks before Baba died, I mean, it was just so like wild. But shedding the skin, right? Letting it go. For some reason, I cannot get into my magical medium at Gmail account. So I'm working on that right now. In the meantime, if you would like to work with me or reach out to me, please reach out to me through lulaslabyrinth@gmail.com. There is a link on my main page. All you do is click where it says Welcome Witches, Healers, and Deep Down Believers in Magic. Click on that and it'll bring you down. Now, I don't think you can see it on cell phones. You have to do it from your laptop. If not, you know, I'll put it at the end of this too, so you can see it, but it's Lula's Labyrinth, like my other channel, at gmail.com. Okay. And yeah, and I feel like there's going to be some other changes too. So yeah, email me first. I know sometimes you guys will just send me money and then be like, can we set up the reading? But email me first, because right now, all of my money things are linked to magicalmedium@gmail.com. And if I can't get into my email, I can't access that money. And I really think that Spirit wants me to do that, because this started as Lula's Labyrinth. Then it was changed to the Magical Medium. And then they had me morph Lula's Life back into Lula's Labyrinth. And it was all meant to happen for a reason. Interestingly enough, Lula's Labyrinth, Baba the Great, and at first Lula's Labyrinth didn't come back. At first it was just Baba the Great and the Magical Medium. And then I was like, they showed me this thing, like they showed me how to do it. Spirit showed me how to do it. And I got Baba the Great back. And I was like, holy shit. Because when I didn't get Baba back, I was like, when I got Baba back, but not Lula's Labyrinth, I'm like, how would that make sense? that channel's older than that channel. Do you know what I mean? But it was meant to be, because they didn't want me to work on that. That was like the time that they wanted me to like be with Bubba, which was very interesting. So now I know it's a lot of blah, blah, blah and changes, but that's me. Like, if you've been part of this tribe for years, you know I'm ever changing. We are all ever changing and ever growing. We don't always keep the same cell number, the same address, the same email address. And maybe for some of you, this is a little wink, wink, nod, nod for you to change yours too. I have changed my phone number 3 times in the last like 13, 14 years. And I have changed email addresses, but they're having me go back to lulaslabyrinth@gmail.com. And I think that that makes sense, because it's always been, that's what it is. My whole world is Lula's Labyrinth. The magical medium is just an arm of it, right? But like, I'm an all-encompassing entity, entertainer, muse, prophet, reader, medium, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just all of these things. And so my expression of my avatar is on Lula's Labyrinth, but like all of my spirit work, or my mediumship, not all my, because I have spirit work on there too, but my mediumship is like mostly here on the magical medium. So anyway, I do have old videos though that feel like they're going to want me to post on here at some time. So maybe they'll morph back together. Maybe there'll be a time where they'll let you blend your channels. I know they talked about that, but it would be really cool actually if I can blend both of those channels together. But some people, they don't want that. They just want the readings. That's why I started the magical medium. You don't have to fucking watch my acting and my singing and my poetry and all, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's okay. You know, like, if I'm just here to be your mentor and your guide, so be it. I feel blessed to be a part of it. So thank you. And let's see, do we have anything else, Spirit? Do we have anything else that you would like me to say before we head out today? No, but there is something that's going to come up in some of the other readings. So if you're drawn to any of the other readings, you may want to go and check them out. Okay, that's it, you guys. Until next time, I love you so much. No sacrifice, no victory. You have to, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. It's time to move on, because you've got a celebration. You got expansion to do, baby. I feel like for some of you, you were in the sanctuary, and some of you are still in the sanctuary, and that's okay. There's no judgment. We're in winter. That's why I said we're all in like this winter energy right now. But when spring comes, and by the time April rolls around, and we'll be full into spring, you know, because we'll have the equinox obviously in March, but you know, I feel like there's some major shifts and major changes are going to take place. So hold fast, hold steady. Slow and steady wins the race, okay? I saw a turtle just now. So slow and steady wins the race. Hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. Remember who you are, because if you were in your present person and who you are, you wouldn't be having anxiety about the future or depression about the past. And if you're having depression about the past, then work through it. If you're having anxiety about the future, it hasn't happened yet. Don't put that fucking juju on yourself. You hear me? Stay in a high vibration as much as possible. And when you got to work it out, work it out. All right. I love you. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome reading to, welcome to your no sacrifice, no victory reading. If you have this on loud, you may want to put it down just a little bit. I am going to ring a bell and clear the air. I did it already for your space and for your altar, which I took pictures of, and they will be in the community section with also anything else that happens in the reading. I promise I will put it in the community section. And sometimes I forget. If I forget, always remind me. Never ever be afraid to remind me. You know, just comment on the reading and say, hey, can you post the pictures from this? Because they're most likely still in my phone, because I delete them out of my phone once I don't need them anymore. But so much has been going on in my life lately that there's a good chance. I think I actually just remembered that I forgot to post the pictures of the dragons from the dragon reading, I think. Or maybe I have. I don't know. Literally, like, everything's been a big blur. In real time, it's February 2025. It is actually the 5th of February, and I was just trying to figure that out. I was like, so what is today? So if today's the 5th of February, it's the first quarter moon in Aquarius, and the first quarter moon is about taking action. And so right now, I want you, before I ring the bells, I want you to close your eyes if you can. If not, just focus. If you can, pull over, or if you can, you know, be somewhere where you can be grounded and focused. It's always better to be listening to these and connecting with these readings, you know, when you're doing something like that. Although you can be busy work too. I like to clean and listen to readings too. So sometimes I just like play like a reading and then I'll like clean. So whatever, but in terms of just so that you can connect, so you're not like trying to drive through traffic, and there must be somebody who listens to these while they drive, because I get that a lot, like to tell you guys to like slow down and or to pull over or to listen to this at another time. With that being said, I want you to clear your mind right now. And as I ring the bells, I want you to think about what that means to you. No sacrifice, no victory. Okay? And if you can, I want you to keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them. Okay? So take some deep breaths, whatever feels good to you. And we're going to clear the space and clear your energy field. Here we go. With your eyes closed, Spirit had me write this down for you to think about. Imagine knowing what Earth is from the very beginning. What would you be like? If you knew from the time you were born exactly what you were and were allowed to be that, because you're surrounded by people who support and love you and understand that we're all put here for a special purpose, what would your world be like? Who would you be? Who would you be? Right? Who would you be? The no sacrifice, no victory means that in the first quarter moon, it's about taking action. So if you set some intentions for the new moon in Aquarius, and most likely you did, because if you're here or you found yourself here, you're in the practice, you understand, you understood the gravity of this new moon being the first new moon of the Gregorian year, but also calendar year, but also that it was also the year of the snake. All these changes, transformations, rebirths, renewal, energy. We were all told all around, this is the time, if you're going to set some intentions, this is the new moon to do it. When I looked down, it was 7:31. Oh, Baba. Baba's with us. She has crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. She left us on January 31st, 2025 at 7:01 p.m. But she is here with us now. And it's taken me 4 days to really get to the point where I could actually talk about her without losing my shit. But it's because she came to me this morning and told me not to feel sorry for myself. She said, you have work to do. I'm with you every step of the way. I may not be in that furry, fluffy little creature anymore. She's like, but I am with you. And she said, when you're ready, when the time is right, I will come back in this lifetime. She's like, you'll know it. It'll be okay. She's like, but for right now, you gotta stop. I was just like, I'd fallen into such a depressive state. And she's like, that's okay. You grieved and you're going to keep grieving me for a while. And she's like, you'll always miss me. But she's like, you have to keep going today. She's like, you have to do these readings today. Yesterday, I did some messages for the tribe and from Baba and my mom. Look at the sacrifice, and what have you been through? In the last 8 months, I've lost my partner. He's still alive, but we don't live together anymore. We're separated. And I don't know what the outcome will be. I hope for the best, but I also know that everything happens the way it's supposed to and divine timing and all that. So for now, we've been apart for like 7 months. It's been excruciatingly painful. I miss him so much. He was with me when Bubba passed, but it was sad when he wanted to go on his own way. That was really hard for me because I really wanted us to grieve together, and he's like, I need to be alone, and I respected and appreciated that. But holy shit, grieving on my own for the last 4 days, it's not for the faint of heart, but I had to do it. I lost my mom. My mom passed away last August. So it hasn't been an easy road. But I have grown and changed so much. And I needed to go through all of that pain and that suffering to realize how connected it is to the third dimensional experience. Because with spirit knowledge, we know that we're okay. We know that everything's fine. The people who are feeding into the craziness on the planet right now are people who are still in the third dimensional thinking, and they need our help. We cannot dwell on it for much longer. We have to pull ourselves up and out of the depression and the darkness and the sadness and fucking get going. This is the year that we are going to do that. Now, your reading was very different from the first reading. It was so cool the way it came together. So a lot of you may know this, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you keep coming back, thank you for coming back. Welcome as well. But I love to cut out words, sayings from magazines, fucking box from pasta, you name it. I've cut boxes from my processed food, from pizza, just everything. But it's cool because when I use them in those kind of readings, because I cut out vegan, or I cut out, because it's like what you need. So this one was not any different. We have the strength rune, which basically never went back into the bag since I pulled it out at the beginning of the year. I'm going to read you all of the things that came out for you. So we have the strength rune. We have the word rare. We have crafted and curated for the creative spirit. Turn memories into love it, Freudian slip. Turn moments into unforgettable memories. Love, beauty, and planet. December. When I initially saw this piece, some of these have double-sided, but when I initially saw this one, it said real, period, natural, period, clean. I must have accidentally cut off the period, or or maybe there's whatever. But on the back of that, I feel like that's how you're meant to live your life, by the way. Real, natural, and clean. Clean inside and out. Stop making excuses for the foods that you like and the things that you're putting on your body. Stop making excuses for them. It's okay to have certain things once in a while. That's okay. But it's not okay to continually ingest chemicals or overly processed foods or things that aren't even the food. What freaks me out is when you go and you see let's say you're somebody who knows nothing. Who knows nothing? You're from another world, another planet. And they're like, this is a grocery store. In the grocery store, this is where you buy things to eat and drink. And they're like, okay, cool. And you're like, this is an apple. And they're like, ooh. And then they taste the apple and it's delicious. It's organic, right? It's local and yummy. And each apple looks different. They're not meant to look the same, like Freaky fucking Friday. Think about it. Fruit's supposed to look different. They're not supposed to be the same shape. When I think back of the grocery store and everything was perfect, and how I've worked and known people who've worked in the food industry, in grocery stores and restaurants. When you see how much food gets thrown away, no one on this planet should be starving to death. It's fucking gross. And it's really, really gross. But imagine, right? So they get to eat this apple, this delicious apple. And then you say, they have juice for that too. And you're like, what do you mean? And you show them water, and they get to drink clean water. Maybe it's from the mountain. It's a mountain spring water. It's clean and delicious and pure, and you can taste the life in it. Then you say, here, try this apple juice. There's no apples in it. It's water with food coloring, corn syrup, and apple flavoring. And they go to drink it and they go, oh, that's not those two things together. And you're like, yeah, it is. And they're like, I don't think so. Right? Their palate's new. They're freshly human. They haven't been diseased by this fucking gross world of like fakery and fuckery. You know. Just like I knew when I was in the hospital when they tried to give me fruit and I'm like, that banana is disgusting. And they're like, you said you wanted fresh fruit, because I didn't want the Jell-O and the fucking Gatorade that they gave me when I had pancreatitis. Hello? Then I hear, while I'm in the hospital, come down to the courtyard for our organic farmer's market. And I'm like, and they give me the most grotesque banana. I fucking had a talking to with my doctors about that. And I was like, do you know how perverse that I'm like, I hope you all hear me, because it was a teaching hospital. So there were 2 doctors and 6 residents. One girl was hiding behind her clipboard because you could see her like laughing, like, holy shit, like she just fucking schooled these dudes. Because I was like, you're teaching them. I'm like, well, let me tell you something. I hope you take this into the world with you. Because I was like, that's wrong. Why am I hearing about an organic farmer's market? And he goes, well, we don't know for sure that you have pancreatitis. I go, I have pancreatitis. I have researched everything. And I'm like, you can't legally tell me I have pancreatitis. And then later on, like one of the doctors was like, it's absolutely pancreatitis. But if you say that I told you that, they're like, I would tell them that I never said that. But, you know, and I was just like, even in the hospitals, and I was like, what is going on with this world? I spoke about it in the first reading. If you're drawn to it, I spoke about how I saw this thing where it just came into my orbit and I'm like, why? But I needed to see it, where Elon Musk was basically calling us all pussies for not working a 120-hour work week. And like, you are gross. They want to turn us into slaves and drones. It is so it's so obvious what's happening. If there isn't an impeachment that's going to take place, people are going to uprise like none other. Like this is going to be this year is going to be the year that changes the planet, period. All of us have to sacrifice something. What do you need to sacrifice so that you can gain your victory? Because without it, no sacrifice, no victory. You don't get it. You don't get to play, right? Like, you don't get to play spirit worker. You don't get to play like, oh, look at me. I have all my crystals and all my stuff, but you're still fucking partying. You're still blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm going to get really tough with you guys about this. And Spirit is getting tough with you. We are here for you 100%. 100%. We will always be here for you. This is your family. If you found yourself here, you are family. You are Ohana. You are community. We love you. We are one. But you can't get shit twisted, man. This isn't real. And we have to pull ourselves out of the 3D matrix so that we could do what we came here to do. But we agreed to live the full 3D human experience, because how else could we fucking help other people if we don't go through it first? On the other side of this real, natural, clean, this says, participating in that year's fashion. And then it says Ebony's annual trademark. So I don't know where I got this from, but it's a double-sided. So real, natural, and clean. And maybe this is about you. Maybe your fashion. Maybe you need to change, you know, maybe you want to go more into a real, like you want to stop wearing fake nails and you want to stop dyeing your hair and you want to go more natural. All more power to you. I've done it. I'm doing it now. It feels lovely. But I also, every so often, I get bored and I'm like, you know what? I need to fucking color my hair or cut my hair, you know, and that's okay too. And maybe you are the clean, perfect Pollyanna, but deep down you want to be like a goth queen and dress in black and fucking black nails and black lipstick. Fucking do it. I don't care if you're 75. Do it. If that's what feels good to you, that's what feels good to you. If you're a shadow fucking leader, then you're a shadow leader. But you will always, always be in your light. You know, I put a little sticker over the camera when I do these podcast format, and the one that really wanted to come out is it's a little blue, like a light blue, baby blue sticker with a black heart in the middle. that could be what you are. And that's okay too. Like, we need you. We need the dark witches. We need the light witches. We need all of it here. It's all encompassing. It all plays into our story, our karma, our existence, our experience, our destiny. So, interesting that we have another double-sided right next to it that has a Buddha in lotus position, and it's a Buddha tea. So lotus flower might be something you want to work with. Meditation might be something that you need. Buddha tea, maybe you need to go and get that brand because, something that gives you little things in the morning to look forward to. I'll tell you, there was a time where I couldn't, if I didn't have a tea with something in the morning, I couldn't do it. It needed to have some message on it. All the ones that I have in all my cute stuff where I grab them out to do these for you guys, and myself, every single one of them were a tree. Ooh, Freudian slip for a reason. Maybe you need to go be by a tree right now. All of your stuff is on a tree bark. Wait till you see the picture. It'll be in the community section. But, all of these teas were either drank by me or people in my orbit that were doing spirit work. So that's the one side. But the message that came with it, right? Because that's just it. That's like Buddha teas and like their little logo that I described. But then on the message on the back, it doesn't say who the author it is, so it's anonymous, and it just says, when nothing goes right, go left, right? So if things aren't going right, maybe you need to turn left. Like maybe it's time for you to turn left. Maybe it's time for you to go in a different direction completely. I mean, think about it. If that's the case, you're literally like going in the opposite direction. So maybe they said that to you because you're going in the opposite direction and they're trying to, I'm going to take a picture because I turned the Buddha tea over. So look at them closely. When I put them in the community section, look at them closely and see, I move things around from picture to picture. But do you hear what they're saying in that respect? Sometimes we have to go in a completely opposite direction of where we are going so that we can find our way. And if you're going anywhere, you're not going the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as you're going the opposite of where you are. When I looked down, it was 111. It's like I can't even see what the other numbers are. The seconds don't matter. All I saw was 111. So that's a sign for somebody. Also, my eyes went straight down to the tiger's eye, and whatever reached out to you in here, we've got amethyst, we have rose quartz, agate, what else is in here? Pyrite, Shivalingam, malachite. I feel like that's all they want me to say. Any other ones, if you see them, work with them. Also, the owl feather wanted to stay in here, so work with owl spirit medicine. We had owl spirit medicine come through in reading 1 too, in reading 1 as well, if you are drawn to that. Also, rare. You are rare. So if I read this all together, I'd say turn moments into unforgettable memories, crafted and curated for the creative spirit. Strength, love, beauty, and planet is what makes you so rare and beautiful. Right? When nothing goes right, go left. And I'm hearing participating in fashion. Also, Ebony was a magazine and then turned into, I believe they have a channel now too, but there's something with that as well. So it could be, for our African American family, it could be something that you're drawn to. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but it was derived from that energy. Also, December keeps coming out. Let me see if there's anything on the back of these other ones that I didn't see. Nope, not on that one. No, not enough. It kind of looks like an O on this one. The shape kind of looks like, it almost looks like an animal. I'm going to take it. I'm going to turn it over and just see if anything speaks to me. Let's see if there's anything on the back of rare. Nope. So that's it. That's it for those. Now let's see what messages we have from the unicorns. Spirit, unicorns. Do we have any messages for reading 2 to expound on what we were talking about? Oh, I love it. Patience. It says, pause before you take action. Trust that divine timing is at work. Be patient and play whilst you wait. Yes. So, you know what, you guys? I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, it may not be for everybody, but for at least one person, things aren't going to really come together until December of this year. And I know right now you're like, fuck, it's February. But you know what? It's going to go by so fast. It goes by so fast. It really does. My gosh, it really does. I mean, I have moments where I'm just, oh, that's cool the way that just stuck there. I have moments sometimes where I'm like, it feels like it's going to, it's like going to take forever. And then you realize like it comes up pretty fast. So I feel like in playing whilst you wait, like maybe you're meant to play with fashion or your hair or like a new look, or take this year to really like hone in on the snake energy to come up with a new you, inwardly, outwardly. But like, I feel like if you are drawn to this pile, there's something that needs to outwardly change. It could be your appearance, it could be your home, it could be your car, it could be your friends, your family, your job, but there's definitely something that needs to be shed, getting that really super strongly between now and December. And of course, whenever you watch this, it's timeless. So, but in the real time, we are in February 5th, 2025. And this is about taking action. The first quarter moon energy is about taking action. So also my eyes just went down to the calendar for the new moon on the 27th of February, which will be like, little over 3 weeks from today or 3 weeks from tomorrow. On the new moon on the 27th, I feel like you guys are a lot of things are going to happen for you during this time. And again, whenever you watch this, it could just be like the next new moon, whatever, if you watch this in December, maybe you're watching this in December, and then the new moon, I've been watching some of the old readings and it's been fucking so trippy how much they don't align totally, but like they'll align with other things where you're like, wow, that is happening right now. Or like, oh yeah, there's a new moon coming up, or, So take that for what it is. But I know that you don't want to hear that. I literally just heard you don't want to hear that, the patience part. But the next card that just came out is discernment. It says, all is not what it seems. Stay true to your knowing. Keep your dreams a secret. Yeah, as gross as this sounds, I hate to spit truth sometimes, but sometimes you just got to fucking spit it out. I am hearing that please stop telling certain people. Number one, I feel like you're telling people because you're trying to prove something. And number two, it's because you're excited. And it's okay to be excited, but you have to remember that just because people act like they're excited for you doesn't mean they really are. Truth fucking hurts, but it's true. It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. It's such a gross truth. So, in the first card in patience, it's a unicorn it's a white unicorn, but like there's a hue of blue all around them, like an angel. And they're standing on the edge of what looks like a cliff, and it's nighttime. And as they look to the night sky off in the distance, you can see the northern lights. But it looks like the blue of like angels, like beckoning, and the tip of their unicorn is glowing, like E.T.'s finger. Remember in E.T. when his finger starts to glow when he's around his people, like that's like their thing. That's why he was saying ouch, because he was like, I miss my family, ouch, And I feel like this is you. I feel like you feel like you're off in the distance, but like they're like, look to the stars, look to the light. We're right here. We are right here with you. We love you so much. You are not alone. Take a minute, take a breath, take a step. You will see that you are not alone. Please, please, please be with us. Please be patient. That's what I'm hearing from Spirit. Because you're glowing in the darkness, but you're also keeping isolated, which I'm feeling like for you guys right now is really good to be isolated. Pause before you take action. Right? Because what did that one message say? When you don't know basically when it says, when nothing goes right, goes left. It's also the same theory of when you don't know what to do, do nothing. Do nothing, right? Do nothing till you hear from me, right? That's it. So I'm hearing from Spirit, just be patient, wise one. Be patient. That's why you got this altar with the strength on there. You're strong. You're stronger than you know. I mean, you got the Shiva Lingam, which is the balance of the divine feminine and divine masculine. Also, I'm hearing drink some water. I'm going to drink some too. My eyes just gazed over to my rainbow calcite. Work with rainbow calcite for creativity. Because, this one says, crafted and curated for the creative spirit. So you were crafted and curated for the creative spirit. Like, you were born for this. You were made for this. But everything has to go in its divine timing. Even if you feel like you're ready, you're not. Because if you were, you wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't be feeling impatient. You wouldn't be living in the past or in the future. You'd be in the flow, in the now, in the knowing. So in the second card, this happened in the first reading too, where we had cards that were in shadow and then cards that were in light. So the first card was, there's not even a moon in the first card. It is just dark as night, but you see the stars, and you'll see, there'll be pictures in the community section. But in the next card, in discernment, it's a beautiful redhead. It actually, the beautiful fairy goddess in this picture, she looks human, but it feels like a fairy energy. It felt fairy when I started this, especially when the bells wanted to come in. And to see your altar, you know, like the other ones we use the same altar, but it was like different. You know what I'm saying? Like, this one was more about you and the altar and being connected to earth. And that's why that word tree came out. There are no such thing as accidents, right? But whatever she is, I feel like whatever you identify with, divine masculine, feminine, inwardly, outwardly, in this imagery, it's a beautiful redhead who looks so much like Kirsten Dunst, like a young Kirsten Dunst. I just watched Interview with the Vampire again. But she has her head against a unicorn's head, and the sun is bright in the sky. All the colors, in the first card, the colors are black and blue and white. In the second card, and that was patience, and discernment card, they're like yellows and ambers and oranges and reds. There are red roses draping over the unicorn. It's a really beautiful picture. The unicorn has a braid in its hair with a red, looks like a red ribbon or a red rose. And she's wearing a red dress. And the unicorn's eyes are slightly closed, and they're trying to connect with her. Like, you know, when you put Bubba and I used to do this all the time, you know, we'd put our third eyes to each other. We'd lean into each other. I feel like that's the unicorn's trying to do that with you, but you're looking away because the beautiful energy, the fairy in this picture, she's looking side-eyed. She looks like she doesn't trust somebody. She's like, you know, and they're saying all is not what it seems, right? So they're saying it's good to know that, right? Like, they want you to listen to your intuition. There's obviously something going on in your life that is not on the up and up, like, you know that. But at the same time, instead of connecting with spirit and just letting that pass by you, you're obsessed with it. You're staring at it. You know, like, she's staring at it, like that kind of like, don't fuck with me vibe. But spirit's like, don't even give them that. Don't even like look at them. Like, spirit's like, look at me, look at me. The unicorn's like, look at me, connect with me, right? And it says, stay true to your knowing. Keep your dreams a secret. So those are the two. Let me see if we're going to get any more cards. Those are kind of flanking your reading. I think that's it. Okay, do we have any more messages, Spirit? Anything else? I'm going to take a picture of this in real time for you guys so you have it. I'm going to put this over here. Hold on. Also, when I just looked at the clock, it's 12:32, and I feel like that was for somebody. Because it's 1:22. Ooh, it was 1:22:12 when I looked at my... Alright, so here we go. I'm going to take a picture... I kind of want to come in a little tight though, but I want you to see the whole thing. Okay, let me get a flash picture. I always do both because I've learned that I take pictures and I'm like, oh, those look great. I'm like, oh, those look great. And then like, I can never get what I really wanted, like the look that I wanted. Do you know what I mean? Like, or like the words aren't there and I'm like, damn it, because I have something covered and I didn't realize it, or, you know, like that. I just realized the patience was covered. Okay, Spirit, is there anything else you want me to change or move around? Nope. All right, so this is going to be our last shot. Okay. I feel like that one, the flash was on it a bit too much. I just realized, I wonder if you guys can see that in the podcast. I wonder if the light changes, you know? Anyway, okay. I always like to check one more time. Okay, Spirit, do we have any more messages, channeled cards or otherwise, that you would like me to say, or anything that I left out of this reading for reading 2? Okay, nope. Those are your messages. I love you so much. And I said this in the first reading, and I'm going to say it, and I'll probably be saying it for a while. I have lost contact with my magical medium at Gmail account. When my phone broke, I put my new phone in, but for some reason it didn't come through. I've tried everything and passwords, and they've locked me out. So the only thing I'm going to be able to do is call YouTube. That's what happened to the other one when I had it. The magical medium at Gmail, the same thing happened. And that's another story. But so weird how that happened. And now this one, I can't get that email address. So I feel like they want me to stick with lulaslabyrinth@gmail.com. So I just have one email address for both my channels. And this was Lula's Labyrinth originally, and that is my world, is Lula's Labyrinth anyway. Like the magical medium is just like what I do. It's like an arm of it, just like my singing and acting and writing and all that stuff is just like a part of Lula's Labyrinth. So I changed it on here, and I will be changing it in other places. Also, I'm going to have to change my Venmo accounts and stuff too. So for now, if you want to send me anything, you can do it through... I am going to add some things. I know some of you have reached out and asked me to add some things to my Amazon wish list. I am going to. That is something I'm going to be working on in the next 24 hours. So keep checking back. If you don't see anything besides cards, feel free though. If you'd like to donate a deck to the tribe, we would love it. We love new decks. They're always fun. They're education. If you're drawn to it, it means that we need to work with that medicine. If not, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you would like to work with me, reach out to me at lulaslabyrinth@gmail.com and we can set up a session. I'm trying to think anything else. Yeah, even my Venmo, like everything's under Magical Medium right now, my PayPal. So until I can get that cleared up, I'm going to have to do a new one, start a new one, and it's going to be under Lula's Labyrinth. And yeah, so that's it. And I will keep things updated as much as I can, and I'll keep you guys updated. Basically, if you want to send any money to me, because I know a lot of you guys love to send money to me, and I love you for it. Thank you, thank you. Message me first. Either email me first or text me first if you know me, on that level. And I will let you know. I will redirect you to the new thing. If not, I'm going to be putting some really cool things in my Amazon wish list because there are things I really need, like for the house. And my one friend was like, I can send you money, yes, but she's like, what do you need? And now that I'm on my own, it's gonna, the one thing that sucks is I'm sad Bubba's gone, but it definitely is gonna, at least I'll be getting a little more money in, right? So that's okay too. And yeah, so that's it. But if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you'd like to purchase a recorded reading, my spirit had me change my rates up to $125 an hour and $63 for a recorded reading. It's half the price of working with me one-on-one. And it's the same thing, it's just for this session, whether it's an hour, whether it's 20 minutes, whatever it's meant to be is what it's meant to be. And that is it. Okay. All right. That's it. I love you guys so much. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. And thank you for supporting me and this channel and my ever-changing ways, especially in the year of the snake. We are all going to be changing a lot. So don't be hard on yourself. Take it one beat, one breath, one moment at a time. Patience is going to be your virtue for now, and discernment. All right. Until next time. Love you. Bye. Welcome, reading 3. I'm so excited for your reading because I love this deck. I love the Oracle of the Unicorns deck. It's one of my favorite decks. It's one of the first 10 decks I ever got. It's such a special deck. I've been connected to the unicorns really closely, really tightly since I was a child. And out of all the unicorn decks that I'd seen, this one was just, even when I see it in passing, like readings, like in a shorts or something, I'm like, oh, I love that deck. So the rare gift we have today is we get to read from the book. I don't read from the book a lot because each card gives so much in the imagery, and in like every card has a word or a phrase and then imagery, and then it has like 3 sentences, like 3 different readings kind of on it. So I rarely am pulled to read from the book, but today in your reading, we didn't read in 1 or 2, but in this reading we are. So let's see. Oh, ooh, somebody have allergies or something? That just came out of nowhere. I didn't even have time to pause it. Okay, so I feel like somebody, we could be dealing with allergies. We're coming upon allergy season. We are in the middle of winter for the Northern Hemisphere and summer for the Southern Hemisphere, and we will be going into spring and fall, and both of those have allergies. When we have new blooms coming in, and when we have blooms that are dying and floating into the atmosphere, right? So let's see what we have for you guys today. So I'm hearing from somebody, find a way to, this is really important. I just heard find a way to heal your, I don't know if that's the word they really want me to use, but work with, heal your allergies, if that makes sense. Okay. So instead of using, like, maybe you're somebody who uses like an antihistamine, and they're like, maybe there's like a more natural way you can do it. I don't know. I'm just getting this really strong vibe that it wasn't just a sneeze. Okay. Also, I'm playing with your altar and your stones. The stones that came out to work with you are amethyst, malachite, and pyrite, and moonstone. You can work with agate if you want to. They came up in some of the other readings, but that's the one that I really got right now. Also, I'm hearing something about your finances, and I feel like we're going to get into that. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture. I like to take pictures in real time. This is how I do it. If I was doing a reading for you over the phone, or if I was doing a reading for you on a video, this is what I do, is I take pictures or video so that you can reference it later. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to take one of it without knowing what the card is. It's just like the back of the oracle card, and then I'll take one once we reveal the card. Okay. Also, they had me bring in some clear crystals and a pink heart crystal. So there's something going on with the heart chakra. Oh, beautiful. Interesting. Okay, so the card that you pulled is Dance. And it's a unicorn it's a white unicorn has some like really beautiful pale pastel colors in its tail. And it's bucking up, and it's nighttime on a full moon. They're on the grass on the ground, and it looks like they might even be next to water. It's hard to tell what that is. I don't know if that's water or if it's fog, but either way, I'll post the picture. Check in the community section so you can look at it a little more closely. I almost feel like I want to just go in with this like really on a tight, there we go. But it's a nighttime, and it's a full moon, and the stars, and the tip of they're up on their hind legs, like kicking forward, like, and like they're dancing. And then the tip of their unicorn horn is glowing. Okay. And it says, dance, move your body to music, dance with the rhythm of life, manifest your dreams through dance. And I also want to say, I'm going to take a picture of this. It's very important also that underneath it, I wasn't sure if they were going to have me do this, but they are. Underneath it was once a unicorn, once a rose quartz unicorn, that I fell asleep with it in my hands going to sleep. When I was going to sleep, I fell asleep with this, and Anna, the president of the Magical Medium, I always call her, one of our tribe members, Anna, was gifted me this beautiful rose quartz unicorn, and the horn broke off. So I was very sad about it, but it's interesting that it was meant to, you know what I mean? Like it was meant to break off, but you can see it laying there sideways. And also hiding underneath there is the strength rune. There's other things hiding underneath there, but for now, those are the only two things they wanted me to look at. Also, you may want to work with tiger's eye. I just got a glimpse of it underneath there as well. So clearly, this reading is about taking action. Where do you need to take action, right? Because no sacrifice, no victory. There's got to be something that you have to give up. Also, a white feather just came into the orbit. So I'm going to take a picture of it because it fell right on the unicorn. And I feel like they want you to see this so that you know, like, that you're never, ever, ever alone. Never. Even if you think you're alone, you're not alone. Spirit is with you. And I think it's interesting where it fell too, because it could have fallen in so many different places, but it fell like right in front of the unicorn, almost like they're trying to lead you forward, like they're trying to say, like, come this way, dance this way. The bark that this is on, this piece of bark, was from a tree that fell during one of our storms. I got this from the Olympic Mountains. So is that piece of greenery. It came from that tree. And I was just so into it. There was just so many things. And I feel like you're the first one that they're having me do this. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dump everything off. And I'm going to take a picture of, because it has all these like lines through it, right? Where like, you know, these bugs, they're just, you know, just making their way, right? Like just wanting to eat like everybody else. And, but I feel like there might be some scrying in here for some of you. So I'm going to take a few different pictures. It's the inside of the bark. You know what I mean? Like it's the inside. It's not the... oh shit, it just broke. Wow, that's so crazy. It felt so strong. But I feel like, wow, I feel like that has something to do with you guys. Like something's going on. Like you're like, I'm so strong, but I just broke. But you know what though? You're supposed to break. If you're breaking, like say you're like trying to be strong, right? You're like, I need to be strong for my family. I need to be strong for everybody. And Spirit's saying, yeah, but you can't always be strong. Sometimes you gotta cry. Sometimes you gotta let loose. Sometimes you gotta dance and just let it fucking go. I'm going to take a picture of the other side too because it's really cool. But yeah, that's what I'm getting is like, it's just time for you to let it go. There's just too much. I just feel like there's just too much pain and suffering. Just too much. There's just too much. And I feel like a lot of it for you guys is self-inflicted. And I know that sucks to hear that, you know. But sometimes we do. You know, one of the other readings I was talking about how I had pancreatitis. And, you know, a lot of times people are like, oh, you had pancreatitis, huh? And I was like, yeah, I fucking was drinking myself to death. I was literally drinking myself to death. I told Spirit, I'm like, you better fucking help me or you better send me a sign or do something or else I'm literally I'm gonna check out. Like, and I know, like, I've tried to kill myself so many times and was never successful. But I know that Spirit knew, like, I wouldn't stop. Like, I would not stop. And, you know, my partner went through something like that too, where they couldn't stop their addictions. They couldn't, so they tried to kill themselves because they're just like, I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. And, you know, the horrific things that they did, the lengths that they went to try and kill themselves and they still didn't die. I was like, dude, it's not just that you're a strong motherfucker. I'm like, you can't go out that way. It's like, sorry, you don't get to go out that way. It's not all sunshine and roses all the time. And sometimes it's ugly and sometimes it's gross. I watched my familiar die for hours. Hours. I mean, after we laid her to rest, I mean, one of the first things Alder said was, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. I'm like, neither have I. I'm like, I hope I never have to go through it again. But you know what? If I do, then I fucking do. Now I'm prepared. Now I know. I watched the energy, the entity that not only I love the most, but it's a part of me. She was my familiar. Like it was like watching my old life like die. She came to me before I was like what I am now. She gave me 13 fucking years, man. Oh, when I looked up, it was 13 or 1 hour 36, whatever. But like all I saw was 13, and she died on the 31st on a Friday. Like, I mean, it was just so crazy. At 7:01 p.m. I was born at 7:02 a.m. I mean, just like all these things where it's just like, you know, she's like, it's time for you to be free. Go dance. Go be. You know, she's like, I know you want me to be with you forever, but I can't be with you forever. Whatever you're holding on to, whatever's holding you back from your victory, from your love, from your life, from the life that is waiting for you. You have got to sacrifice something. You have to let it go. And I never ever ask you to do anything I didn't do myself or had to go through myself. I would never ask that of you. You know, and if I did, I would say to you, I don't know, I don't understand that, but I love you and I support you, you know? I mean, watching that, I mean, I can only imagine what a mother feels like. Watching their child die in the hospital or finding out their child, you know, died in a car accident or something like that and never, you know, that's why every moment is precious. That's why we are meant to look at the fragility of living this third dimensional human experience. You know, and in this case, with me and my familiar who was a cat. But we all know Baba was way more than a cat. She was our mentor, our teacher, our guide. She wasn't just mine, she was yours too. She was everybody's. That's why I posted everything. That's why I had to put it up on all the channels. It wasn't like I was doing it for attention. It was like, there are a lot of people who really love and care about her. You know, she was a special entity. And not only that, but people who love and care about me and know how much she meant to me and Alder. You know, loss it's part of life. It's part of life. And we have to dance. We have to move our body to music, even when it's hard. You know, the other day, I was like, it was just bad. You know, like I was just like crying my fucking, I couldn't handle it anymore. And I was like, you know, I was like, send me a message, you know, send me a message. And this like old like disco song came on, and I'm like, what? And I was just kind of listening to it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And it starts out kind of slow, and all of a sudden it's like, pew, 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 da, 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 da. Oh, on the radio. And I like started dancing, and I was like, and it was like Dolly Parton, you know, where she's like, laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. Because one minute I was like, baba, and crying. And the next minute I was like dancing my ass off because she knows. I was like, you know, she knows me so well. And she knows that like, I can't resist a fucking good dance jam. And that no matter how sad and grieving I was, I needed to fucking have a dance party. I actually did a funny video on it. I don't know if they'll have me post it, but it was funny. And it was funny for me and Bubba for sure, you know, because we were just like, because it's so true. It's just like my head just started bopping. It's like it can't help itself. So, you know, align your body, your mind, and your soul to the rhythm of life, not to the rhythm of the darkness and the bullshit that's playing out. That all has to play out. This third dimensional experience is playing out. You know what? The more slack, the more rope. You know, a lot of people are freaking out, you know, in America and saying, why isn't Congress doing anything? Why isn't the Senate doing anything? Why are the Democrats letting them get away with this? Why are the GOP letting them get away with this? Why is this happening? Why? But I'm like, because the more slack you give someone, the tighter the fucking noose when they hang themselves. If this motherfucker isn't impeached, I would be shocked. And if not, something else is going to happen, because people are losing their noodle. But you are a light worker, a star seed. You are a warrior. You are meant to hold the vibration in light as much as possible. Even if you're a shadow witch or a shadow worker, wizard, whatever, it doesn't matter. We still right now are here for a purpose and a reason. And we cannot feed in or play into the chaos that's all around us. We cannot be around the people, the places, the things that feed the bullshit. I made a shorts earlier today where I lost my noodle, and I don't know if they'll ever have me post it, but I was really, really angry. I was really angry, and I was like, but that's what they want right now. They want us to be like, they're like, are you done yet? Like, are you done? Are you done putting up with the bullshit? Because they're like, we're ready. When you're ready, we're ready. This is the year of change, transformation, and rebirth. Hello. 9. We're almost there. Don't fucking give up, man. Don't give up. We spoke about patience and reading too, if you were drawn to it. It's about, you know, they spoke about patience and discernment in reading too. And that's what we need to do right now, is listen to our intuition. Stand up when we can stand up. Speak when we can speak. Say it with as much love as possible. Sometimes some venom has to come out. We're in the year of the snake. Just like last year, the year of the dragon wasn't easy either. Dragons breathe fire. Well, fucking snakes bite and they breathe venom. Or they don't breathe venom, but you know what I'm saying, right? They spew venom. So it's like we have to be mindful of our energy right now and you know, how we're putting it out there. When I was done with that shorts, I'm like, yeah, I want to post it right now. Roar! Fuck Elon Musk, you know, like, but at the same time, I was like, I love Elon Musk because he needs to do this right now. They need to do this. They need to be these buffoons. And I mean, they're just, it's almost like they're pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, just like fucking just happened at the Grammys with Kanye West and his fucking wife. And people are like, oh, she was part of it. Oh, and I was like, well, then it's sad for her too, because what is so, like, why do you want to be you want to be famous so bad that you'll just put yourself out naked into the world? It's like, in some ways it's art and it's beautiful because she's just like exposing herself to the world. But I would have had more respect for her if she would actually have just exposed her whole body instead of the bullshit of like, oh, this is my body stocking you can buy. And then they go to another party and it's another body stocking. I'm like, so you're basically selling fancy lingerie? Yeah, that doesn't need to be at the fucking Grammys. There was a little boy standing next to them. And I'm not saying that nudity is wrong, but it's just also like, it's just the shock value of it. You know, and obviously the little boy was meant to be there, and maybe someday they'll be like, were you the little boy who, you know, who knows? But you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's just so much where people are just wanting attention, or they want control, and they want power. And we're like, you know what? Take it. Let's see what happens, because you're going to keep pushing, and you're going to keep pushing. You're going to keep pushing to the point where we're going to be like, you're out of there, motherfucker. Nope. Sorry. That's when all of us come together and say, you cannot do that just because you're the president. You're not a dictator. You're not the king of America. Sorry. Doesn't work that way. They're trying to shift it because they want to bring it back to a monarchy. Of course they do. For as many people who fled the monarchy and came here to start a new world, there were just as many that fled the monarchy that came here to rebuild another monarchy to take over here. You know what I mean? It's just this fucking game. That's why the Game of Thrones came out. That's why they have all these things. You know what I mean? Like, they're showing us. Right? Like The Handmaid's Tale. Because we're like, no, it's never going to go that far. But in the show, if you remember, if you didn't watch it, you really should, especially if you're a woman, and an American woman, you absolutely should watch The Handmaid's Tale. Like, when you get off this fucking reading, you watch nothing but that. If not, watch the first fucking season. The first episode. Because people are like, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Well, it did. So, you know, it's like, these are the things that we have to really be mindful. I spoke about this in one of the other readings. I just watched this movie from 1977 called Julia, which is based on a true story of Lillian Hellman, who was she was a writer. And, you know, she and her love, the love of her life, they kept trying to make it out to be like that it was gay, it wasn't gay. It's like, it didn't matter. They had a friendship that bonded from childhood, and they were sisters, and they loved each other very deeply. And it was just this really beautiful story of these Jewish women. They were American Jewish women who tried to help during the Third Reich. You know, we need this right now. We need people to speak up. We didn't have this. Can you imagine if social media was around then? It's different now. And now so much is exposed that, like, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that has this thing, that situation, that person. You know what I mean? Empathy. Don't underestimate love, and don't underestimate empathy. You have it in spades. This card is so joyful and loving. And it says, dancing will help you shake off any stuck energy that may be blocking a manifestation and help you speed up the delivery of your desires. Movement and music open your chakras, get your energy flowing, and unleash the feel-good endorphins that help align you with more abundance. Dancing can be used to shift you from doubt, worry, fear, or anger into optimism, excitement, and gratitude. Put on music to match the energy you need to shift, and let your body guide the dance to find release. Let go of any need to dance well and find freedom in moving without inhibition. Right? Like, dance like nobody's watching is what they're saying. When you have shifted into a higher space, put on uplifting music and bring in your dreams with dance. Imagine yourself living the life you really want. Then call it in with your body. Right? So, like, when you're dancing, if you don't like where you live, close your eyes and imagine. Like, maybe you live in the cold and you're like, I want to live in a warm climate. Imagine yourself dancing on a beach with palm trees, but that beach and those palm trees are your yard. Yes, dream big. Dream big. You are bigger and more powerful than you can imagine. Why do you think the only difference that these oligarchy energies are doing differently than you, throat chakra, is speaking their fucking truth. They're putting it out there because they know how magic works. They've watched it. These old boys are from old clubs. They know magic is real. They know manifestation is real. That's why they've literally worked people into this, like, fucking gross, like, world that doesn't exist. That's not part of Earth. There is a really cool phrase that was in reading 2. So if you're drawn to reading 2, I was going to read it to you guys, but they told me to wait. Like, if you're drawn to reading 2, go watch reading 2. But basically, in a nutshell, Spirit is saying to us, dance like nobody's watching. Dance like you don't give a shit, because you shouldn't. There's no reason to. This is your life. You get to do whatever you want with it. As long as you are fucking in service to Spirit, you're in service to yourself. Because Spirit wouldn't give us, if you're doing something that you don't like or you don't love or that feels like drudgery, then that's not what you're meant to do. Maybe your parents told you it was. Maybe somebody told you were good at it. I like that old saying from Mae West. Yeah, well, I'm good in bed. Should I be a hooker? You know, she's like, I'm good in bed too. Should I be a whore? I mean, I'm paraphrasing. It's a phrase that's gone on through the dawn of time. right? Meaning like just because you're good at something doesn't mean that it's your passion. I could be really, really good at doing hopscotch when I'm a kid, but you think I'm going to do hopscotch for a living? Probably not. You know what I mean? I don't know why they gave me that random analogy, but it's really that random. But if there's something that makes you glow, that makes you happy, you love dancing, maybe it is dance. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel where you dance every day. People are making money on YouTube left and right doing what they love. Millions of followers. They're getting paid from, advertisers. You can actually not have advertisers on your channel and just pay for sponsors. There's so many ways that you can do it. But like TikTok, I'm sorry, you guys, there's something really dark and sinister about it. I don't like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. There's something that I just don't feel, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I tried them all and I loved them all in different ways. But then I was like, there was just an energy there that was different. I'm not saying YouTube is perfect. Don't get me wrong. I know that YouTube's got some shady, dark, fucking weird, crazy shit and all that too. But it was the original. It was the OG, right? So they've taken so many things from these different platforms and these apps, and they've made it so now you can make really cool videos. You can make reels that are like 3 minutes long. You can still only do 1 minute of music, but you can download other music from other things. There's so many things that you can do. But I'll tell you what, on Lula's Labyrinth, when I do my dance videos, I get a lot of hits. And I mean, I could, argue, oh yeah, there I am, a cute girl like dancing or whatever, sure. But it's more than that. I mean, I had one where some guy's like, I could tell from his energy that it wasn't sexual or whatever. He's like, I'm dancing with you. He was like Korean or something. And I was like, oh, I'm like, thanks, dude. Like, and I could feel that, and he just wanted to say like, I'm dancing with you. You're not alone. So it could be something like that, or it could just be as simple as taking a dance class, or it could be even the most simple of all. When you get done with this reading, put on your favorite music and dance your ass off. And trust me, I have danced and cried at the same time, and it's very cathartic. It's very cathartic to dance and cry and laugh. Crying through these emotions, it helps us like cleanse our soul, and it helps release these old like pent-up energies that they really need to go now. It's time. So it says, the last message is, beam powerful intentions out to the universe while you are in this very high energy state, and let them be carried on the waves of joy radiating out from you. Exactly, that's what I was saying in those videos. Like, because when I'm really into it, and I'm like, all of my videos are like that. I can really feel like my videos that do the best are the ones that I'm putting my whole heart into. And ones that don't, I'm like, well, you know what though? Even if I only got 36 views and this one got 5,000 views, it's like 36 people needed that message, and maybe it was just for 36 people. Don't be like, oh, I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down. It's okay. Until you hit a certain plateau where you have millions of subscribers or people who follow you or whatever, it's like until you get into that algorithm. It's interesting that they say that once you hit 1,000 subscribers, that the algorithm like starts to feed more. But I was going through like hospice. I was in kitty hospice with Bubba, and then her death. And now it's like, she told me this morning, she was like, get your ass out of bed and do this fucking reading, because I promised Spirit that I was going to do a group reading, which I did. I did a podcast. There'll be a link for that. And then I knew they wanted me to do a pick a reading. I really felt it. So this morning I woke up really depressed and really sad. It's super cold. It's in the 20s. I just was missing Alder and Bubba so much. Like I just was crying. I was just like, I don't want to get out of bed today. I don't want to, I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, I can mourn if I want to, And then there was just this moment where Bubba came through, and she came through with music, and everything was good. And then we made some videos together, and she was like, you know what? You need to pull yourself out of this. I'm still with you. I'm just not there with you. She's like, hug Sherwood, my stuffed animal, my emotional stuffy. And she said, sometimes we need to just plow through because we actually will feel better. And you know what? She's right. If I'd stayed in that depressive state, of course I would have made apologies to you guys and said, oh, I'm sorry I didn't do it on the day. And I know I said I would, but it wasn't about that. It was about that I love this work, and I love you, and I want to support all of us, and this is my mission, and I will continue to grieve, and there will be moments. But she was like, you have to move on. You're a soldier, you're a leader, you're a warrior. When we watched her, like every breath come out of her for hours like that, and just like, there were moments where we were just like, let go, Baba, you can let go, you can let go. And now looking back on everything, the way it went down and just the time she died and everything, it was just so beautiful. It was like a beautiful book, which I'm sure I'll write about at some point. But I realized that it was because I needed to really see and be a part of the death of myself. She took that bullet for me. Baba was really healthy. I mean, honestly, like, I could have, I mean, if we had done things differently, we definitely could have let her live a few more years and she could have been fine. But she wasn't supposed to be. She wasn't supposed to be. And whatever you're hanging on to and clinging on to that won't allow you to move forward, that's keeping you in this darkness, that won't allow you to dance and be free, it's the one thing you have to let go of. So let's see if we have, I just got the chills. So let me see if we have any more messages from the unicorns before we head out. There's a blank, I was going to say there's a blank space right here, and I feel, oh, your next card is hope. Oh my gosh, I love this card so much. Oh my gosh. And it is just it's like if the unicorn was getting its portrait taken at a photography studio, that's what it looks like. If you know this deck, you know the card, it's hope. And I love that both dragons, Freudian slip. I love that both unicorns are looking forward. The first one, the dance, and again, the pictures will be in the community section. But I love how that the first unicorn is looking towards the east, because let's just say, now mind you, I'm looking south, so you take this for what it is, and if the direction means something to you, maybe you're meant to go west, you know what I'm saying? But I am west, and if I go any further west, I'll be in the ocean. I live in the west. I live in the Pacific Northwest, to be precise. But of course I can go west for a few more hours and be at the ocean. But do you hear what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like for some of you, this is a direction. Like, you're looking west, and maybe you're meant to move west because the unicorn is like, the body is reared up. So you're meant to come back west, wherever you are. But also, I got the vibe that, like, if I am looking at this forward, then it's north, south, east, and west. And I feel like they are looking east. And east is to healing. Because west is water. And it's communication. And it's Archangel Gabriel. But east is the direction of air, healing, and of Raphael, which is the archangel of healing, medicine. So very interesting. And hope says, stay positive. The worst is behind you. Look up to the light. Yes, because that's what I feel like too. They're both looking up. They're both looking towards the light. And even with the dance, like, the full moon is behind the unicorn. And their tip of their horn that is lit up is like one of the stars in the sky with the moon. So the last card is nature. Oh, I love this for you guys so much right now. I seriously love this for you so much right now. It's so pretty. It's so special. I'm gonna definitely take a picture of this. Wow. Okay, so this is, it almost looks like a watercolor painting of a faded scene of trees in a forest. And you can make out the unicorn, but the unicorn's like almost like behind the branches. And it's in green energy, and the unicorn is looking down. And interesting that these are all unicorns. And some of the other cards, we had Pegasus unicorn, and it was kind of like, stories of like birth and change and transformation. But this is interesting because you start out dance, then hope, and then you end with nature. And I'm going to take a picture of it now. Just the way that the location that they had me take the picture, it's like it's almost like you're going in like an elevated, like you're going up like stairs. Do you know what I'm saying? You'll see it when you see the picture, because it's like dance, and then the dance unicorn card is lower, and then the hope card's just a little bit higher, and then the nature card is like almost like it's about 25% to a third of the card, just a little bit above it. And I feel like that's what they're trying to say, is like, you need to be in nature, like nature. And I was trying to get my laptop out of there, but they just took it that way because they're like, no. Like, I feel like maybe some of you guys are too connected to your electronics or something like that. And they're like, it's time for you to take a break. When my phone broke, it fucking sucked. But we had to wait until I probably could have, reached out to some of you guys and been like, I need money, I need a phone. But instead I was like, nope, I'm going to wait until the phone appears. And Alder, we were blessed and he worked. But I didn't have a phone for 5 days. Nothing. No music, nothing. But those 5 days were Bubba was still coherent. And I will always feel so grateful. I even said that to her. I felt like she was going to die after that because I thought, excuse me, this is what they want. Like they want me to be with her and not be, whatever with my phones. And it could be the same for you. Like maybe it's time for you to like take a real sabbatical from your laptop, your phone. Excuse me, I'm getting indigestion, which I didn't feel anything until just now. So it could be that's why some of you need to, because like maybe you're sick or you're not taking care of yourself, or you're, there's something going on with that. Because in the card of nature, it says, ground yourself, find a sanctuary in nature, and connect with the elementals. Also, if you were drawn to reading 1, they spoke about the sanctuary. So, you may want to go. Reading 1 was really beautiful and very intense and very long, but it was super good. But yeah, so I'm feeling like for some of you, it's almost interesting too, in a weird way. I almost feel like you have these 3 cards and it almost feels like 3 separate readings. They may want me to do some shorts for these. And thank you for that, because I always feel like whenever that happens, it's like there's a reason for it, especially for the hope and the dance right now. We need that from everybody. So thank you for pulling these cards, and nature, all 3 of these. I mean, it's good medicine for all of us, right? All of these things are really, really good, tight, honest medicine that we need. Now, I got the feeling when we started that we were only going to pull 1 card, and we read from dance. So let me see if they want me. Would you like me to read from the book for hope or nature or both? Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, and you'll see the pictures in the community section. Do we want to, are there any more messages that want to come through for reading 3 at this time? Okay, and I always like to do one more shuffle just to make sure, or at least try to attempt to shuffle. Nope. So that is it. Those are your messages, reading 3. I hope they helped you in any way. And until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Also, as always, I have to say as always, because I shouldn't say forever, because I still never know when things are going to happen. But of course, in the year of the snake, Spirit is having me really shed a lot of things. And I got locked out of my magical medium at Gmail account because I couldn't remember the password, and it didn't transfer over when my phone broke for my new phone. So I still have Lula's Labyrinth and Tallulah's 1958 at gmail.com. But Lula's Labyrinth is like the main one I'm going to use. But some of you have been with me a long time, and when I had Tallulah's Treasures, my little shop and all that, I had that email address, and some people still once in a while will send me an email from that. But so now I just have those 2 email addresses. That's it. So if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, whether you're in person or over the phone, or if you would like a recorded reading, you can email me. And if you would like to donate anything to the tribe, for now, I'm going to wait until I feel like Spirit wants me to shift like my banking, everything, because my Venmo is tied to that. Everything, all of my money sources are tied to the magical medium at gmail.com. So I'm going to take that as a sign that they want me to change, because I've been thinking about changing banks and things like that too. So I kind of feel like this is my year to do that. So hold tight on that kind of stuff. But if you'd like to donate anything like cards, or I'm starting to build a wish list on my Amazon. So there'll be a link there for my Amazon wish list. I think I might actually just pull my Venmo off and stuff off, just so, because I mean, I don't know. I might be able to do it. I don't know. I think I remember my passcode, but all my passcodes were on my old phone. And like I said, I feel like they just want like a fucking start over. And maybe I'm telling you this too, because this is for everybody. Like, maybe it's time to start over. Just like everything, a new email address, new phone number. This was coming through on some of the other messages. Maybe you guys need to do that too. I've had to block a lot of people out of my life, and that was the way I did it. And, so it could be the same for you. So there you go. Also, if you do want to work with me one-on-one, to do a session, whether in person or over the phone, is $125 for the session. Or if you want a recorded reading, it's half the price at $63. It's the same thing, except for we're just not doing it like over the phone, or like in person. We're doing it, And if you want to do it in person and you're in Washington State, on the Olympic Peninsula, I do charge for travel. So if it's somewhere where we can do it, like at a coffee shop or somewhere, I don't normally like to do that, but once in a while, if it's like a really powerful entity like myself, I can totally do it. Like I have a few people that we could easily like go to a restaurant and like sit in a little booth or something. I've been thinking about doing something like that. I don't know what Spirit's going to have me do. A lot of stuff is going to be changing, you guys. You're going to be seeing a lot of stuff changing. I'm seeing certain things coming into my view of what's going to happen this year, but I don't want to say too much until it actually happens. But I'm getting vibes about things that are going to change and shift and move, and I'll just leave that hint there. And yeah, so that's it. Until then, take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you at the next reading. Blessed be. Oh, bye.